All right, everybody. Well, welcome to today's ClientTrack training video. In this video, it's going to be a little bit different. You're actually going to see possibly me on the screen. So it's going to be a pre-recorded training that will cover annual assessments for your use. This will go out in the newsletter email that we have. So if you are not a part of that newsletter, make sure to reach out to us, or reach out to me, I should say, in order for you to be added to our newsletter, where you can receive all sorts of different news, updates, everything regarding HMIS and ClientTrack. We tend to put into those email newsletters. So with that being said, my name is Luis Iniguez, and I will be helping you guys navigate through today's training. So why don't we go ahead and jump on into the annual assessments and things to keep in mind. So when it comes to annual assessments, not all agencies have to conduct them. Mainly the agencies that do are COC projects, ESG, so emergency shelter, PSH, permanent supportive housing, rapid rehousing, Veterans Affairs, or VASH. Those would be the ones that are required to do annual assessments. Not only that, but we also have a few outliers, or actually I should say just one outlier, which is Visalia Rescue Mission. Since they are technically like a short-term enrollment agency, since they do collect income, and this kind of covers everyone else. Any agency that collects income from the people that they serve, from the clients that they serve, will have to do annual assessments. What I'm going to show you guys is where you can find every individual that's enrolled in the same project, and then you can see kind of like the details as far as when their enrollment date was, when the anniversary enrollment date was, and also the 60-day window that we have in order to do the annual assessments. So let's go ahead and shift our attention over to the screen, which we have the ClientTrack login screen. As you can see, guys, we have the Kings United Way training site, just because we do want to keep people's information private. But if you want to open up ClientTrack on your own and kind of run through and follow along, you're more than welcome to. The steps that I'm going to show you are pretty simple and straightforward. So let's go ahead and sign in. So on the screen, you will see that we already have the client that we were working on. Most recently, we have John Doe. And down here, we have a few rapid rehousing enrollments. Normally, you wouldn't see it like this, because this is the test site, so we have trial and error practice runs on this. But this is kind of like the old way as far as doing annual assessments. You'd find a specific individual, you would go to their dashboard, and then you would find their enrollments, and then you would go to these three little dots, and then you find update annual assessment. And that'll take you through the process of doing the annual assessment. However, in modern times requires modern solutions. So if you had an entire project list worth of people, whether it's 5+, 10+, 20+, there needs to be an easier way other than going through, one client ID, searching the enrollment, and then finishing an assessment, and then, rinse and repeat. Instead, what you can do is you can go into the Home tab, which is right here. Let me double check something real quick. There we go. Okay, you guys are seeing the right screen. So you go into the Home tab, and then you should be able to see right here in the second layer, My ClientTrack. So if you open that up and you look further down, you see the Annual Assessment tool. Now, this tool is something that even we barely discovered that was a function in HMIS or in ClientTrack, and it's proven to be a really easy and straightforward way to kind of explain things. So let me go ahead and click on it, and then as you can see here, we have a few questions that we need to filter, or like filters to pull which project we need to find. So I'm logged in under Kings County Human Services Agency. So let's go ahead and use them as an example. First, what I want to do is click right here, overdue annual assessments, so that'll kind of prioritize who's overdue. And all you need to do is select the organization. So let's go ahead and select Kings County Human Services Agency. There we are. And if there was a specific project that we needed to pull from, here's where you can pull that. So if you wanted to find a rapid rehousing program, you see here, BFH, HDAP, Project Homeless Connect, and things like that. But for this one, we're gonna click on BFH, and then we're gonna hit search. And now down here we have all of the people or all the persons who are currently enrolled in BFH under Kings County Human Services Agency. So if we go from left to right, we see the case name. Sometimes you'll see if there's any family members, you'll see them listed here. So Jane Doe, Subdoe, enrollment ID, project name, and here you go, the entry date. So this person was enrolled on the 21st of May of 2023. Now, when it comes to annual assessments, of course, we're not going to do an assessment, on the 22nd, pretty much the next day. We would have to wait until an entire calendar year, which brings us to the anniversary date right here, 5/21/2024, which was, pretty recent. And then further right, we see the start of 60-day window. So what that means is that there is a 60-day window in which the annual assessments should fall in between. And as you can see here, the 60-day window shows 21st of April, and also the end of the 60-day window is the 20th of June. So the annual assessment must fall in between those dates. However, sometimes things happen, we forget, some people slip through the cracks, and we end up doing an assessment, say, not until July or something like that. That's okay. We can manually change the assessment date so that it fits in that 60-day window, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. And then you can also see days enrolled and case manager, as we have Rosa. And of course, this will all be different depending on your portal. So you might see some things different. You might see that you only have access to your organization, but still, it would be the same steps. You choose your filters, you find the people you need to assess, you kind of get a breakdown of all the information when it comes to anniversary date, the 60-day window, when it starts, when it ends, and how long they've been enrolled. So why don't we go ahead and conduct an annual assessment? So easily, we can select right here on the action gear. We have edit enrollment, complete annual assessment, and select. You can select it and you'll be taken directly into their dashboard, but if you just wanted to jump right into an annual assessment, you can just click on complete annual assessment. So here we have, as you can see, we have multiple family members. We have we have the head of household, which is right here. We also have a dependent child. Another thing to keep in mind, if you have a family member, say Jane had another son or another daughter, or maybe her spouse was added later on into the enrollment, that person will also need to be assessed along with all the other family members that are listed in that same household. But if they were added on a different date, it's okay, or not it's okay, but that new addition to the enrollment, their anniversary would be the same of Jane's. So if we added someone, so as you can see here, they were added on the 21st of May. If we added her spouse, the following month, we wouldn't go based on the spouse's anniversary enrollment date. We would go based always under Jane Doe's anniversary enrollment date. So if we had a John Doe that was enrolled in May or in June, he would have to be assessed in that 60-day window of 5/21/2023. So just keep that in mind. So once we have all the people that we need to assess, we can go ahead and click on save. And this will take us to what type of assessment we will need to conduct. So since this person has yet to complete an assessment, we will have to select new annual assessment. So we'll click on that. And here, these are kind of things that you've seen in the past with universal data assessment. If you already have information listed for that individual, you can always click on default client's last assessment, and that'll auto-populate. Same thing for insurance. If they already have that information entered, you can simply click on default last insurance status. So as you can see here, client doesn't know, and that's okay. We can click save. But we got flagged. You see here? we got flagged. The assessment date is outside of the 60-day window. So if I remember correctly, this person was assessed, or this person was enrolled on May 21st. So what we need to do is manually change the assessment date. So let's say May 21st was the anniversary enrollment date. We have all these days prior, and we have also 30 days after. So 30 days prior to the 21st and 30 days after the 21st. So if we click on, let's say, the 24th and we hit save, now we're good to go. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but now we're good to go. And here you will see the income and sources non-cash benefits. So if this person has any income that they wish to report, any benefits from any kind of sources, this is where you would put that. Also, if there hasn't been any changes or anything like that, you can always click on default last assessment, and that'll automatically populate those questions. Same thing down here. We can see that food stamps and Medicaid, and then kind of like a total of how much income this person makes. Click further below, hit save and close. Did we get flagged for something? Nope. And then it'll take us to the next assessment, which will be for SUPDO. I know the name kind of sounds weird, but since this person is in the same household as Jane, everyone in the same household will need to be assessed. Even if the individual in this case is a 1-year-old, still an assessment is required. So we'll go ahead and click new annual assessment. And it'll pretty much be the same process as Jane Doe. So you go ahead and click default last client, or default clients last, default last insurance. This one indicates that this person does have Medicaid, so we can always click save. Oh, same thing, got flagged for the assessment date. We can go ahead and click on the 24th, same thing as Jane Doe. And after a few seconds of loading, let's see, there we go. And just like that, you have completed annual assessments for not only Jane, but also for SUP. And now you're done doing annual assessments. Click on finish. And now the assessments that are needed for this household has now been completed. And you can pretty much rinse and repeat that same process for all the persons involved in that project. So we can go back to the home tab to the annual assessment tool. Let's go ahead and click refresh. Let's go back to the filter where we're on. So Kings County Human Services Agency, BFH, hit search. And now let's click on overdue annual assessments one more time. And here we go. So now we see that both Jane and SUP have now been removed because now their assessments have been completed. And then you can just go along down the list of persons who need to conduct an annual assessment, and you can pretty much make your job that much more easier. So yeah, that was pretty much about it, guys. If you guys have any questions about anything related to annual assessments, feel free to contact the HMIS team at Kings United Way. We're always here to help. And if you guys have any further interest in trainings like these, you can always check out the specialized trainings and also the new user trainings for any refreshers.